Good morning or good afternoon, depending where you are in the United States. My name is Edward DeJesus, and for those of you who don't know me, I have 25 years of experience in the field of workforce development. My work has appeared in the Washington Post, the Miami Herald, Baltimore Sun, Black Enterprise Magazine, and on National Public Radio. I'm the author of numerous reports and books on the issue of employment and educational opportunity, as well as a consultant to over 100 educational and workforce development organizations across the United States. I just want to welcome you to this webinar and to the new concept of opportuneurship, and I'm going to introduce you to a great tool to help you get started. I know many of you are saying, opportuneurship, Ed, that sure sounds like entrepreneurship, but in reality, it's something quite different. Opportuneurship is about developing the policies and procedures to provide your students with the tools, skills, opportunities to access jobs in the hidden labor market. You see, what I realized after visiting hundreds of workforce development programs was that they are placing too much faith in short-sighted strategies, resume writing, interviewing techniques, job skills training. I'm not saying these things are not important, they are just the least effective. The most critical component of helping people access jobs is not teaching them how to write a resume, it's teaching them how to build a network. Research states that up to 85% of available jobs are never advertised in the newspapers. They are discovered through the word-of-mouth network. The difference between networking and not working is only one letter, and that's a O, and that stands for opportuneurship. And here's why opportuneurship is so important. The unemployment problems of your students is directly tied to the unemployment problems of the people around them. Their income will be the average income of the top 5 of their closest friends. Their network is so important. And if you're serving youth from a poor community, you even have more of a reason to be concerned about opportuneurship. The simple definition of poverty only means that the majority of people in their community are unemployed or underemployed. Who is your student going to turn to build their network? Other unemployed people? Job seekers must expand their network. The problem is most workforce programs and schools don't give them the tools to do so. Don't think that it's only jobs that are hidden. Educational opportunities are hidden also. Tell me, how can you rely on the high school career office to give your child good information about scholarships and other educational opportunities when they have a ratio of 1 counselor to every 300 students? I know this may seem obvious to many, but what is so obvious is never really practiced. 97% of youth job training programs and 93% of adult workforce development centers do not provide students with the tools to develop and sustain opportunity networks. And if the majority of jobs are in the hidden labor market, doesn't it make sense to help job seekers access the hidden labor market? So let's review the 3 principles of opportuneurship. The reality of the hidden labor market goes mostly unnoticed in educational and workforce policy and programs serving the poor and low income. A commitment to opportuneurship means effectively addressing this issue through the development of systems, policies, and practices. Principle number 1. Opportuneurship is a system-wide change effort. All key stakeholders must agree and support the incorporation of opportuneurship into the current workforce development and/or educational system. Let me be clear, opportuneurship is not a workshop. It requires the commitment from a broad group of stakeholders, including businesses and funders. It's not enough to believe in opportuneurship. It requires that all hands are on deck to make sure that the jobless and students are provided with the tools, skills, and opportunities to access what has been regulated to only a well-networked few. Principle number 2. Opportuneurship recognizes that networks are a great resource. Opportuneurship strategically and consciously uses the power of networks to promote individuals' future economic opportunity. Opportuneurship becomes the network. It connects job seekers and students in a very real way with opportunity. Opportuneurship does not focus simply on placement rates, but on connection rates. and the development of those connections over a period of time. Let's go to principle number 3. But before I begin, I want to ask you a question, and I want an honest answer. Would you believe that employment and training is the pathway to success if you saw the majority of your peers coming out of employment and training programs unemployed or underemployed? CJ didn't. CJ was one of 8 out-of-school youth I interviewed for a Department of Labor study, and this is what he told me. He goes, Mr. DeJesus, I got friends who went through your programs. They even graduated from your programs. They got certificates from your programs, only to find out that those certificates meant nothing to the employers they shared it with. And I asked CJ, this wise aleck kid, I said, so what are your friends doing now? And I always remember what he told me. They're working where they used to work. Is CJ right? Are graduates of our programs coming out only to work where they used to work or not work at all? You see, Opportuneurship realizes its goal is ultimately not a job or a GED, but the elimination of poverty. Opportuneurship makes sure it addresses other reasons why young people stay unemployed and underemployed, and it's not scared to address those issues. So let's look at how you can get started in the Opportuneurship movement. First, we start off with an organizational self-assessment around 5 areas. The first focus is on your organizational mission and philosophy. Is there anything in your mission statement that reflects the value of helping participants build and sustain opportunity networks? Or is your organization simply focused on helping young people answer the 10 commonly asked interview questions? What tools are available to students to build and sustain opportunity networks? Do you know more than 100,000 youth worked in the Summer Work Experience program in 2009? Let me ask you, what percentage do you think were assisted in sending thank you cards to their summer work supervisors? Based on a survey of 40 programs, we couldn't find one. What resources are available for students to use in opportunity building? For example, one of my clients brings together local business leaders and job seekers twice a year for a strategic networking session. Each session is followed by training for the job seekers on how to follow up and maximize those relationships. Does your organization help you self-discover the skills needed for opportunity building success? And how are these skills culturally reinforced throughout the program? How are students assisted in the daily practice and reinforcement of these skills and behaviors? In order to determine the success of the Opportuneurship project, we want to access baseline data on program outcomes and student attitudes. This process enables us to evaluate the impact of the project on program performance and student satisfaction. Upon completion of the self-assessment, a 2-day overview of each strategic area will be conducted, and staff will formulate a program improvement plan. Over a 12-month period, we will assist in the proper implementation of this plan and give strategies on how to do so. And at the end of the program year, will be placed on looking at placement data, student educational attainment, and the number of students entering post-secondary educational opportunities as one measure of success. I want to thank you for your opportunity to learn more about Opportuneurship, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.